Amalia, and I'm here today with something a little different. This channel is called Cupcakes and Crafts with Amalia, so I'm here to show you how to make some gum paste lavender. I made some cupcakes for a family event recently, and that's why I'm making some gum paste lavender. Gum paste is a sugar paste made with gum arabic that helps it to dry to a porcelain-like finish. So you can make very fine details and it will be very realistic looking. So I'm breaking off some pieces of the gum paste. These are the hard, crusty pieces at the edges, even though it's a new package and I just opened it up, and I'm just adding a little bit of water. This is going to dissolve very quickly, and it's going to help me make a type of glue that I'll need to assemble my flower. This is the Color Right system from Wilton, and I'm just going to use some colors to make a lavender color with the gum paste. I'm using a very small amount of color. These are squeeze bottles, and you can squeeze drops of color, but I'm trying to use as little color as possible because I want to make a lavender color. I don't want to make a deep, rich type of purple color. And I'm using gloves so that I don't get any of the color on my hands. This is food safe color, and it's a limited color palette, but the pamphlet inside of the food coloring shows you combinations to make the different colors that you want. So as you can see, I made my color too dark, so I'm going to add some white to it to lighten it up, which just means I'll have a greater amount of gum paste, and gum paste will freeze well. So I do have some leftover, and I just wrapped it up in a couple of layers of saran wrap and stuck it in my freezer. For those of you that don't know, my channel is called Cool Cakes and Crafts with Amalia because I taught cake decorating classes for 17 years. I'm a certified Wilton Method instructor and a Hall of Fame instructor as well with Wilton Industries. As you can see, I've mixed in my white gum paste and the color has lightened up significantly, and I think it's just the right color to get started. I'm going to break a smaller piece off, and I'm going to use my rolling pin and the little rings on the side that gauge the depth of how you're rolling your paste. And I'm just going to roll it out nice and thin. I'm using a toothpick to release any bubbles that show up. I just prick it so that the air comes out and roll back over it. I bought the gum paste fresh at Michael's, but everything else that I'm using I've had in my stash for many, many years since I've been cake decorating for so long. I cut out a small flower, I roll it up into a ball, and then elongate that into, like say, to make the stamen for my flower. So I used some floral wire. This is food grade, food safe floral wire. And I'm using that glue that I created earlier. Now I'm just going to cut a bunch of petals and start adding that to the base that I created on that floral wire. You can see that I'm using a tiny amount of the glue just to paint onto that base that I created, and then I'm adding my little petals to that. The little flower that I cut out had 6 petals. I cut it in half to make 3 petals to add at a time. I add 3 petals, I wrap it around, then I add another 3 petals moving down the flower a little bit. That little white pouch that I'm using has cornstarch in it, and that just helps keep things dry. I used about 7 6-petal flowers cut in half and wrapped around that center stamen that I built. I didn't want to make these terribly large because I was putting them on cupcakes, and I just wanted it to be the right size for a cupcake. So I just built one little flower. I'm going to show you how I made the leaves as well. So I'm going to keep adding my layers till I have the right amount that I want. And I know these are not botanically correct lavender, and my leaves are from my own rendition of lavender leaves, but I think they look great. I love this little close-up. I add that little hook because I'm just going to hang it somewhere off to the side to dry. These will need at least 24 hours to dry. I made a total of 24 of these, and I'll show you how to make another one here set to a little bit of music. Enjoy. It's been 24 hours and my lavender is dry. They look great. They're the perfect size, I think, to go on a simple cupcake. And I'm going to be using a few more tools today. I'm going to color what's left of my gum paste in green for the leaves. I'll use my colors that I used yesterday. That's the color that I need. I've got some floral tape, some more of my glue, some wires, some brushes, all kinds of stuff to create my flowers. These are edible color dust, and I've got some silicone patterns to create the leaf veining on my leaves. And I'm just checking out my gum paste and making sure there's no crusty bits on it, making sure it's clean, and I'm going to get ready to color it now. I choose my colors from this color swatch list. I want more of a sagey type green. I think that's the accurate color for a leaf, but the color for this event was lavender and sage, so that's what I went with in terms of coloring. The best way to mix in your color is to fold your edges into the inside and then stretch and pull and fold back into the center. That's the best way to get your color mixed in properly and to keep it from getting all over your hands as much as possible. Even though I'm wearing gloves, I take a little bit of Crisco and just rub it all over my hands. The gum paste was starting to stick to my gloves, and so a little bit of Crisco is going to help with that. Also, if you make some gum paste and you decide to put it away for a certain amount of time, you want to take a little bit of Crisco and rub it all over, and then wrap it up in several layers of saran wrap, and you can store it in the freezer for like 3 months. Taking a small ball, like a chickpea size, I rolled it into a ball, shaped it into a pear shape, took some floral wire and put it through that as my base, taking a rolling pin as I laid it over that little trench in my silicone mat, then turn it over, and that's where I'm going to add texture to my leaf. There's one of my leaves. What I'm going to do here is I just made this little like sausage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into multiple pieces, and I'm going to set all the pieces aside into a covered small jar so that I have these pieces ready and I can sort of assembly line make my leaves. I'll show you how to make a few more leaves with some music to enjoy in the background. I've got my flowers and my leaves ready, and I need to do a little bit more decorating to get them ready. So I'm getting out my food colors, my powdered food colors, and I have a sparkly purple, and I'm just adding that sparkle. It really doesn't do a lot for the color. It doesn't add any extra depth or anything, but it's very sparkly and I like it, so I'm adding it to the lavender. Now with the leaf, I'm going to add some color. So the color I added in the center was like a lime type green, and I'm adding a darker green to the edges. Once I've got those colored, I am going to take my floral tape and wrap that wire in floral tape. Some of the wires I have are green, some of them are white, and regardless, they need to be wrapped in green floral tape. Then I'm going to add it to the lavender and wrap those together, and you'll see that in a second. If you've never worked with floral tape before, you have to stretch it as you wrap it around the stems. The stretching activates the adhesive in the floral tape, and that's what keeps everything together. Once I had the leaf and the lavender flower taped together with the floral tape, I got these wooden sticks with wire, and I wrapped it around the bottom stems, and then I wrapped that around with some floral tape as well. As it turned out, I didn't need them, and I ended up cutting them off before I put them in the cupcakes, but it's a good idea if you need to put them into a cake. They're way too tall, obviously, for cupcakes. But at the last minute, again, I just cut them right off and it was fine inside the cupcakes. And I'll show you those at the end. I'm just adding a few more finishing touches to my lavender, and I'll leave you with some more music as I set up another lavender end leaf. I hope you enjoyed this video. Here's what the final cupcakes look like. And I'm really happy with the way they turned out. And I think everyone enjoyed them as well. If you like this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe. And thank you so much for all your support and for stopping by my channel. Bye!